All of you are welcome to the presentation on the chemistry first, and that is the main and environment. So, main itself depends on the different chemicals, and those are surrounded with, and that is the environment. So, environment contains number of chemicals and number of materials, number of substances which are available all around us. But the question is there, what what is environment? When we see all around us the different parts, different things which are there, and most of the environment, whatever those, the part of the earth, the part of the atmosphere, the part of water, and the part of the bios. Bios, different plants and animals, those also contains the protein, carbohydrate, fats, and some other complicated complex compounds. So the question is there, why the chemistry is involved in the main and environment part of the environment concern. So question main depends on the environment, and environment contains a number of chemicals, number of substances, number of matters by which the basic chemistry is involved. For example, when we have to discuss about the protein, carbohydrate, fats, and those are present in the form of the biosphere. When we discuss about the component of environment, those components involved, the first one is the biosphere. Biosphere, the different plants and animals, a number of animals and number of plants, and their basic chemistry is involved in different plants and different animals. We see the chemicals involved in those biospheres are different proteins, whatever those are the polypeptide, the carbohydrate, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbohydrates, whatever the energy producing chemicals. Fats, these three are the main ingredients of the biosphere. So environment, different component. First one is the biosphere. So we have discussed complicated compounds are involved in the particular carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And further, we have to see the different the genes, DNA, RNA, all those are the part of the biosphere. So the environmental chemistry itself, uh, the part, the biosphere, the environment. Okay, so we say the DNA, RNA, polypeptide, proteins, number of proteins, and which proteins are available in number of different plants and animals. We have to see that particular in case of the different cereals, different pulses, different animal food, different plants, different agriculture produce, so whatever the chemistry is involved. Environment, simple definition, all around us. The components, four components. Biosphere, another is the litho. Litho means the part of the earth. Bio means the plants and animals. So first one is the biosphere, then the lithosphere, and then third one is the water. So that is hydrosphere. Biosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. And then fourth one is the atmosphere. around the earth, that is the atmosphere. So four different component of the environment. Environmental science, the study of the environment. Then the chemistry, environmental chemistry, because all those contains the number of chemicals. So that is the environment part is the related with the chemistry. So that is the environmental chemistry. We see air. Air has the different components, whatever the oxygen, carbon dioxide in present in air. So that is the chemical. Oxygen, chemical, the carbon dioxide, chemical, and other particles, for example, carbon particle, suspended particulate matter. So all these are the part of the. So here the question is there. Uh, Great role of the chemistry involved. So we can say uh, main depends on the environment. This is the whatever we can say, because all around us and different environmental produce and which are used by human being. Human being, how those are used? Different products of the food. The different foods are the part of the environment, and the food nutrients, foods that depends on the chemicals. Which chemical is there? So we can say whole the even the life, the unit of life is the cell. So cell also related with the chemicals. So here a great role of these are there, and chemistry itself is involved in that particular. So man and environment today is the discussion. So what we have to see man is and thus inseparable part of the environment, because man is also the part of the environment. So man is inseparable part of the environment. The chemicals are there. So man and environment have very close relationship with each other. And the basic chemistry is involved. The chemicals are involved. We have to another part, the social life of man is affected by environment. Whatever that. Suppose we want to travel. So that is the part of the environment. If we want to use the different technologies, so different social life itself uh, is affected by the environment. Why? Because different minerals produce the different metals and alloys, and which are used in different technologies. So the social life of man is always affected by the environment. Because, for example, if suppose we have to take the lighting systems, the tungsten itself can be obtained by the environment. For example, if we are using the computer chips, those are chips are obtained from the sand. So sand itself is the part of the environment. Silicon oxide. So silicon chips are made by silicon oxide, and that is the environment part. So sand is the environment part. We can see other technology, whether the transportation system, the communication system, all those depends on the environment. One more thing is there, the spectrum of the communication. That is also the part of the environment. So why? Because spectrum, different radiations. So different radiations are part of the environment. Whatever we have the mobile communication, so there the radiation in the form of specific wavelength, and which are the part of the environment. So radiation, electromagnetic radiation, and their different waves, whatever the whole spectrum. So this whole spectrum is the part of the environment. Why? Because in the atmosphere, from the sun radiation, sun rays, we get the different radiation all around us. That is the electromagnetic part. So this is the reason for various types of social, even the cultural activities. Cultural activities around the world are also depend, because different cultures we have. and we respect different religions, different their respects to their ethics, their values, and this one activities are also around the world. The hilly people were, for example, different lifestyle than the people of the plain area. So that is also difference. So why? Because of the material involved in the in the hill area as well as the plain area. So definitely they are can be separated. Similarly, people around the world differ in their food. Food is also one of the important part of our life because the food gives us energy to do work. Energy itself is required, and that is because of the food and different clothes, different festivals. So all around, all of these are influenced by factor around. So we have to see another the three important constituents, that is the based on whatever the available. The biological part is available on the earth, so we can see the earth. So the biological different plants and different animals, and then there is the social structure, men having the social structure. Similarly, different animals have also the social structure. In case of the plants, which is the available, plants have also the structure where the different animals, whatever, for example, different birds, different other animals are involved in the part of the social structure. For example, if suppose you can say that the group of the animal, for example, if suppose birds group, so bird group have also the social structure. Even a number of animals have their respective social structures. So social structure, physical, whatever those may be. The first one, the physical content, the physical aspect is the whatever those may be the different chemicals, different organic compound, different inorganic compounds, the whatever I have discussed about uh, the light, that is the electromagnetic radiation, that is the spectrum, that is so physical. Whatever we can say, the earth structure, earth composition, geological part, geological chemistry. So that is the earth. So physical matter, whatever we can say, the different minerals, different ores, and we get the metals and alloys from the different ores and minerals. So the question is there, the physical component of the environment that also includes the temperature. Whatever the temperature, whatever the pressure, all those are related with the physical part of the environment. So here one more thing is there. Whatever that particular thing is, how uh, main depends on the physical constituent of the environment. We can see the different technologies which are originated by different metals and different alloys. Whatever, if suppose we want to construct the building, so in that particular case, the physical component of environment is involved. Cement. To cement, whatever we get, the iron rods, and then the stones, then the bricks, then the soil. So in a construction of the building, the different chemicals, different materials role is there. Cement, one question. The water is involved in the construction of the buildings, the civil engineering part. So the physical uh, component of the environment that contains the cement, the origin of cement, Portland cement, the calcium carbonate. That is, the calcium carbonate is the whatever we can say, the limestone. Then water is also the physical part. There is then the different the iron rod. So those are used for the beams and like that. So iron and its alloys, its alloys are also the physical part. Then we have the come towards the environment, the atmosphere. The various oxygen, various pollutants are there. Sulfur dioxide, carbon oxide, many number of uh, pollutants. So those are the also the altitude, also the physical part. Where is the whatever I have earlier discussed about the mountain and plain area. So the question is there, physical component is very large number. Whole periodic table is the part of the physical component. What are those? Different elements, different compounds, different organic compound, different. So all those are the part of the environment. So physical component includes the earth structure parts, and those are the. So now the second part is the biological plants, animals, whole plant kingdom, whole animal kingdom, biological, the zoology, the botany, where in case of the zoology and botany, study of the plants, botany, study of animal, the zoology, but the basic chemistry, basic constituent, the chemicals are involved in different plants by which the specific properties occurs in the plants. So plants are the where the different chemicals are involved. In case of the animals, different. So biological. And third one is the social. So we can say these are the whatever uh, the important constituent of the environment. So now we have to see the what is the physical constituent. Okay, so whatever I have discussed, a number of examples, the physical constituent of environment, soil, silicon oxide, major thing is there, how soil is formed by different activities of the earth. Soil is formed by different activities of the earth. So, for example, if a stone is there, so stone and the water is there. If that stone run in the in river, so that the small particles are cut, so that is the soil itself, and so soil is formed in the construction of building. The soil bajri is used for that purpose. For so that is the part of the soil. Whatever all around the layer of the earth is generally of the soil. Soil fertile also in agriculture, where different plants gives the products. So water, another, air, climate conditions are also important. What are the climate conditions? We have to see the rain cycle, the different climate, different seasons, different summer, winter, whatever those, the part of the season, that is the climate conditions. So the climate condition, the physical part of the how this summer, how winter, because of the environmental conditions. What we have to see already. We have see the different activities of the sea, and that particular activities gives the water upward direction, the vaporization. So the climate is formed in that. Here in India, that we are the specific climate conditions, because here we have the monsoon region. Monsoon, most of the important part of the Indians, and that is the monsoon activities. So climate conditions here in India, the climate conditions are in northern part, that is generally of cold conditions. In the southern part, the hot condition. In between those, the both are there. For example, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, in these, the both hot as well as some month they are in cold conditions. So summer and winters are important, and those are the part of the climate. Then we have the temperature. Temperature itself is also the most component. Would we have the can see the temperature of the environment in some places? Overall, the temperature of Earth, overall the temperature where biology, where the plants and animals lives. So the temperature variation is also one of the important. Then light also, whatever we have discussed about the spectrum of the networking, so that is the electromagnetic radiation. So that particular is the light. These are also called abiotic constituent of the environment, because in this particular case there is no life, so these are the part of the abiotic component. This part of the environment mainly determines the type of habitat or living condition of the human population. So here the habitat type, whatever the certain areas are specific for the certain uh, in case of the desert, in case of the so specific habitation in case of the whatever the sea, and sea around that, that is the coastal area. So coastal area also present in India. The mountain area, that is also present in India. Whatever the northeastern part of the India are the so different habitats are there. Even in the Gangetic plain area, that is also in. So we can say the mangroves also in the Gujarat. So different habitats are there. Whatever those depends on their the concern of the human being or living condition of the human population. So now next is the physical constituent of the environment is again divided into three parts. Physical. Hydrosphere relates with the water. Atmosphere relates with the air. Why we are giving the physical uh, uh, physical state of these three things, but not that is. But we can say atmosphere whole is the gaseous part. Hydrosphere like a liquid, and litho as a solid. So this is another classification for the physical constituent of the environment. So social environment. So now we can come towards the after social environment, social constituent. So that was the what we have, the first physical, biological, social. So physical constituent this one, and this is also further divided into two parts. Physical constituent, atmosphere. This is the another way. Hydrosphere and then lithosphere. So atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. These three are the physical constituent of the environment. Whatever we have to see, the environmental chemistry involved in the atmosphere, different chemicals. Most one is the oxygen. Oxygen, that is most important for the human respiration. That is oxygen that is present in the atmosphere, and oxygen is one of the important chemical constituent of the physical and then atmosphere, physical then hydrosphere, physical then lithosphere. So atmosphere is also one of the uh, one of available uh, physical component, and that contains number of gases: oxygen, carbon oxide, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, different oxides, and those are in the form of the gaseous condition. However, certain other pollutants are also there. For example, some sand mites, that is the microorganism. But overall, we can say the atmosphere is a type of the gas. So gas, uh, and then the hydrosphere, that is also the social part, and that will be the liquid, because the water itself is in the liquid form. So liquid and gas, and then we have the solid part is the part of the earth. Atmosphere, different gases. Oxygen, important. Oxygen itself is for the respiration for ourselves. This needs the oxygen. Oxygen itself is one of the important constituent of the social component of and in social and physical part. So here in case of the social, physical, biological, so we have to see then the atmosphere. Atmosphere, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur, different other gases which are available on the earth. So gaseous condition, atmosphere all around earth, the whole of the uh, like a ball, earth and their special area where the atmosphere is there. What we have to see the longitude and altitude regarding, so that is also important part of the atmosphere. Why? Because in case of the atmosphere, there is specific atmospheric pressure is there, there temperature regulators. So that is even atmosphere is also one of the temperature regulator, the climatic conditions regulator. So here atmosphere is the most one and different. So we can say that is the gaseous one. Now the second part is the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere that includes the different water resources, and those are the particular different seas world, different seas, Antarctic Ocean, sea and ocean, Bay of Bengal, the specific here in India, the Arabian Sea, Arabian. So Arctic, Antarctic area where the water is present, Antarctic, uh, whatever those different types of Pacific Sea, the Indian Ocean, seas and ocean, different parts. So that is the whole hydro part, hydrosphere, water contents, the different bigger rivers, Nile, Amazon, Ganga, big Brahmaputra, Yangtze. So those are the river part as also a part of the hydro part. Then we have the different surface water as well as we can say the percolated the that is also present in on the earth crust, that is above part of that, and where the rainwater percolates and go to underground water. So underground, surface, different resources, different sources, and those are the part of the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is also one of the important constituent, and that is also relevant for the what we can say the different constituent of the water, and that those are the those are useful for that, for our life, for different activities of human being, different activities of plants and animals. Lithosphere, the whole of the periodic table contains almost silicon oxide, iron oxide, aluminium oxide, lead oxide, different constituent, different parts. For example, if suppose we have to discuss about the stone, stone is further with the help of water in sea that is converted in small particle, and later on the finally get the soil. So that particular soil also, what is that? That is the silicon oxide. So we can say that lithosphere having the part, great role of the chemistry. Silicon oxide, silicon, what where we are using in different electronic gadgets, different computational systems, the memory, material, chip, and where we get from the chip we get from the uh, soil, and soil the specific silicon oxide in Rajasthan. There is specific soil, specific sand, specific silicon oxide, specific quartz, and those particular specific silicon oxide, specific soil is used for the manufacture of the chip as a memory material. So chip also the silicon oxide. So what we have can say the silicon and silicon oxide. That is the chemistry. That the role of the chemicals are involved in the different computational systems, different memory materials. So that is the part. Even different technologies. For example, if suppose we have to talk about the high temperature maintaining material, then we have the chemistry, different polymers, different substances in the form of metals, alloys, the ceramics, number of the things. The number of chemicals are involved, and the role of the chemistry is important in uh, so these three. And now next one is the biological constituent. Biology itself. Biology means the science of the life and science of the life, and that includes the two major things. Uh, the first one, the plants kingdom. The another is the animal kingdom. So various plants are there in the biology part. So biological constituent includes the life science, the life plant science, that is the botany. The systematic study of plants is called the botany, and systematic study of animals, that is the animal, that is the zoology. So, in biological constituent of the environment, this is also called the biotic component of the environment. This component consists of all living things, such as plants, animals, and small microorganisms, even the bacteria. The component interact with the abiotic component of the environment, whatever that particular thing, because how the development of a small creature, and how men have very when the small child, and then small child grows, and up to then he or she become the younger, and then later on there is the older. So this one is a process. So living things, animals. So component interact with the abiotic component of the environment. What would we have already discussed the abiotic part of the this that is the physical. So abiotic component. What I am giving the only one example, and that is the water. Okay, one thing. Then we have the sun rays, another thing. Then we have the minerals. So what the plants do their the food. So, what type of food? The starch. The food is prepared by the plants. So, here abiotic component includes the manufacture of the food, whatever the plant grow. Then, in case of the plant, we have the different leaves, different flowers, different fruits. So here, small microorganism. So this component, this which component? The plant, that is the biological component. This interact is the abiotic component of the environment. So photosynthesis. What is the photosynthesis? Photosynthesis itself is the plants make their food by the process of the photosynthesis. So, in case of the photosynthesis, we can say the chloroplast, one thing, that is the part of the plant, that is the part of the plant cell, and chloroplast, one thing, and sun rays. Chloroplast is the part of the plant. Chloroplast is the part of the plant cell. So that is the biotic, and that interact with the abiotic component, that is the process of the photosynthesis. So in case of the photosynthesis, water is used, and then we can say the minerals are used, as well as carbon dioxide is required to complete the process of the photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide another is the water, and then we have the different minerals. All those collectively combined. So abiotic components. So this interaction of two components form various ecosystems. What were those? The concept of the ecosystem appears here because in case of the ecosystem, the system is formed. The system itself is formed. Ecosystem is there. So two component forms various ecosystem. That such as the pond ecosystem, such as the marine relates with the sea and oceans. Then the desert ecosystem. So the question is there: the component, abiotic component or biotic component. Biotic itself relates with the biological aspect. So though they form a system, like for example, in case of the pond, the pond contains the water, uh, aquatic animals, aquatic plants. So where the different algae, different fungi, and different microorganisms, even the bigger, small fishes, even so that is the pond ecosystem. So in case of the pond ecosystem, abiotic as well as the biotic, and both interact to form a system, and then they form the pond ecosystem. For example, in case of the desert, so desert have the specific plants available because the high temperature is there. So temperature is also the biotic abiotic component, the pressure itself abiotic component, the temperature itself. So they form a different ecosystems. Now the whatever we can say the here the different ecosystems are produced, or we can say the biological. So there are the three different parts of this the ecosystem. Producers are the generally green plant and other photosynthetic bacteria. This is whatever I have discussed earlier, which produce various organic substances such as carbohydrate. I have discussed the proteins. I have discussed with the help of water, soil, and light energy. I have already discussed. So water, soil, and light energy are involved. So and the producers. Producers, which are the produce the food, the production, the whatever the great part of the ecosystem. Then these produce are utilized by the consumers. So one thing is there. If suppose we have to discuss about the plants, plants make their self food, whereas the consumers are depend for their nutrition on the organic food produced by the green plant. Then the third part is the decomposers. Decomposers brings about the decomposition of dead plants and animals and return various important minerals for the, so that is the biogeochemical cycle. Then we have to come towards the third part. First we have physical, the second we have the biological, which we have discussed, including the photosynthesis, whatever those. Now the social constituent of the environment mainly constitute of the various groups of the population in different living organization, like birds, like animals. So man is the most intelligent living organism on, and this main form a social structure, a social relevant system. So man is the very intelligent person as compared, a very intelligent as compared with the uh, other animals, like birds, like animals, like other. Man itself is the most living organism, intelligent. So that we are the most intelligent and most living organism on this planet. So in this planet, we have the animals, we have the plants, and in animals, we have the different microorganism animals. For example, the protozoans. So protozoans, the amoeba, paramecium, more and more unicellular microorganism. So unicellular microorganism, then we have the multicellular microorganism. So birds, animals, those are the part of the whatever we can say their social structure. So different birds, how they in the morning and evening, how the specific birds in a group fly and they maintain their the discipline. So whatever the discipline itself is the social part. So how birds when fly in a group and how they maintain the discipline. So whatever, uh, but more intelligent is the human being. So how? Because he controls so many living organisms, so many animals, so many plants, how we can grow the plants, how we can breeds the animals. So this is the part of the very intelligent person, very intelligent human being. Okay. So birds, animals, etc. Man is the most. Like other living creature, man builds house. This is the specific city for the man builds house, prepares food. Different types of foods are prepared, and that depend. So different produce foods are the part of uh, part of the history, because those particular waste material to the end. So prepare food and releases waste material to the environment. This is one of the very upward position, because all pollutants are the waste material, whatever after doing our work, and the waste material to the environment. This is one of the important concern, and that is the environmental pollution. So man is a social animal as told by the Greek philosopher Aristotle. This is the social animal. Why we are giving the animal whatever Homo sapiens, the part of the animal kingdom. But here specify by the Greek philosopher Aristotle. So Aristotle gives man is a animal, but which animal? A social animal. As told by the Aristotle, he makes various laws, policies, so for the proper functioning of the society. Without the law, we here live in a separate houses, and we have the various social networking. We have the different constituent. Indian constituent is there. We have to follow that. So different laws, policies regarding, for example, any of the policies. So such amount of this one is given to very poor people. Some amount is, so what are those are the policies for the proper functioning of the environment for the society. So now we have all of these three components. The whatever I have discussed: physical, okay, and physical, then the biological, okay, and whatever all these three components we have. The the first one itself is the whatever the physical, okay, physical, then the biological, okay, then the society, mean intelligent person, social component constituent. These three: physical, biological, and social constituent. Now we have another, all these three components of the gives four zones are there. If suppose we have to uh, combine the physical, the social, and the biological. So different zones: atmospheric zone, hydrospheric zone, lithosphere zone, and biosphere zone. So there is continuous interaction among these four zones. Hydro, water. Water is one of the important solvent, and that can That is one of the universal solvent, and this solubilize so many number of the materials. Biosphere, that is the protein, carbohydrate, that is the different plants, different number of plants, angiosperm, gymnosperm, whatever those, pteridophyte, bryophytes, number of aquatic plants. So the part of that is the biosphere, the lithosphere already discussed, the biotic component. What is that may be the earth part, that is the continuous interaction among these four zones. These interaction involve the transport of various elements, compounds, and energy form. So this is all about the main environment. So in this particular presentation, I have presented the main and surroundings. Surroundings is the environment, and main is surrounded by the number of different zones, different areas, different zones are the hydrosphere. So where the sea, so how we can use the sea, the oceans. So that is, so with the help of seas and ocean, we can travel, we can transport the uh, so so that is the transportation system is also in the sea. Further study, and in case of the river is also one of the important part. So the different letter, so hydro part around us, that is the zone. Atmosphere around us, the oxygen, the nitrogen, then the different inert gases, whatever those. Then we have to see, so different chemicals are involved in this particular part. After this, we have the biosphere, deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, RNA. All these are the part of the whatever the biological, because that DNA, RNA, those are in either plant cell or in animal cell, and those are the chromosomes. Those are the cell itself that contain the nucleus and then surrounding. So whatever that particular the mitochondria itself is generate the energy. So we can say this is the biological, that is the biosphere, lithosphere, whole of the periodic table of the chemistry. One from start from the hydrogen to the uranium, because the uranium up to, so only 92 elements are stable on the earth, but their combination, their compounds. So this is all about in this particular the lithosphere, then the atmosphere, we have biosphere. So these four zones, and then the main wholly depends on the environment. So this is all about the main and environment and the role of chemicals. And chemicals plays an important role, because chemical are only the chemistry is the only how to correlate the life. So what is the life? So the answer itself is the chemistry. What is the environment? The answer is the chemistry, because in that particular case we have already discussed water, hydro part. So that is the chemical. Water itself is the chemical. So how this can water is dissolved. So all about this is the okay. Thanks for all, and I suppose that we will wait. Okay, all the best.